how to make a Kingdom Hearts battle theme. Or more accurately, how I compose my battle themes. I can't count the amount of times where people have said that my battle themes sound like they belong in Kingdom Hearts, or sounds like Yoko Shimomura's style, etc. And for a long time it was a very nice compliment, but now it's just something I expect to hear. Mind, I don't ever take it as an insult. I mean, I'm obviously doing something, right? This probably has something to do with the fact that two of Shimomura's prominent instruments are instruments that I play and love the sound of. I play the piano, though I'm self-taught and I'm not graded, and I'm probably nowhere near as good as you might think I am. And the violin is my favourite instrument in terms of sound, though due to personal reasons I lack the ability to ever play them. Anyway, these two instruments are used widely in most of my compositions. So I thought it'd be funny or interesting to share with you how my stuff ends up sounding it belongs in Kingdom Hearts. Step 1. Rhythm. It's a given that most battle themes have a rhythm. Whether this rhythm changes throughout the piece or stays the same throughout is up to the composer. Usually when I'm going for this Kingdom Hearts sound, I usually set the time signature to 3x4. Though it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be 3x4. It can easily be done in 4x4. Heck, I'm in the middle of composing one that's in 7. The rhythm I usually go for is a simple one, especially when it's in 3x4. It sort of goes like yeah. But yeah, we're gonna look at something that I'm working on right now. Step 2. Instrumentation. It's almost like a sandwich. I have a certain set of fillings, i.e. instruments, that make up most of my pieces. Now here's the thing, you don't need the same orchestral samples that I do. If you have a set of samples that you love and always use for your orchestral stuff, then by all means use it. In the Kingdom Hearts-like pieces I've made thus far, they haven't been made with the high-end sample libraries from East West or Project Sam or whatever. Quite literally all I've used is Garrison Personal Orchestra samples for its strings and Edirol orchestral VST for its snare and timpani samples. I love these things, and if you can make them sound great, then you're sorted, I guess. As the big guys in the industry say, it's not about what you have, but how you use what you have, or something like that. As for the actual instruments, what I do is create the bass rhythm by adding double basses shorts, or spiccatos, or staccatos, or whichever works. Afterwards, I then add cello as well as viola shorts to it, to give it a bit more flavour. Most of the time this follows the same rhythm as the bass line, but it doesn't have to. Next I start with the violins, especially the solo violin, as this is the instrument that will more or less lead the melody. Other instruments include a second solo violin, 2 violin sections, a piano, snares and timpani. Step 3. Structure. So with the staccato strings, we have them playing out our backing rhythm. It should sound tense, it should sound bouncy in nature. As for the solo violin, our first one will start out playing a melody that lasts for about 4 bars. I absolutely love this violin sample from Garriton Personal Orchestra, and while it may not sound like the most realistically sounding violin, I love its sound and its simplicity, with its piano all the way to the forte dynamics being controlled by velocity functions. The next thing I do is have a second solo violin. This plays another melody that complements the first solo violin, like so. Then I put in two violin ensemble patches. The first violin ensemble patch plays whatever the first solo violin plays, and the second violin ensemble patch plays whatever the second solo violin plays. Here's how the ensemble patches sound on their own. But to get that unique ensemble sound you hear in my pieces, what I do is to have the solo violins lead the ensemble, so you'll hear them among the mix as well. Now I will go into how the piano goes into this, but first let me move on to the percussion. The percussion is actually pretty simple, and I probably won't even go into detail about how I do my percussion, but you want to have a lot of snare rolls and timpani hits that follow or complement the bass rhythm. The timpani's job is to accentuate the hits of the staccato strings. Now onto the instrument that gives it its Kingdom Hearts sound, the piano. I like to think of the piano, at least in this style's context, as another bass instrument. It basically plays an arpeggiated melody that runs across an octave in whatever key the piece is at. So here it runs from C to G to the next C to a few other notes and then comes back down again. If you've ever listened to my False Benevolent pieces, I've done the same thing. My inspiration for this style is Sinister Shadows from the Kingdom Hearts 2 soundtrack, or better known as the Thousand Heartless Battle Song. And that's more or less all there is to it, really. Here's what it sounds like with everything in. Mind that this isn't finished at all, and as such it isn't mixed neither. And this is the updated version with different samples since I'm recomposing this on my new music computer now.